Everyone always asks me what it's like working sort of within a male-dominated industry, and it doesn't get competitive, but I like to prove that I can do just as much as what a man can do. So my name's Emma Cain. I'm 2 years of age. I've been working for Tarmac since 2019, and I work within the quarry industry. I'd done social work before that, which it started to become a bit of a struggle. So my partner suggested, because he also works for Tarmac, and he suggested maybe going for a job at Tarmac as a Weighbridge operative, which was basically, it was mainly in the office, and it was just basically tearing lorries in, tearing lorries out, and making sure the traffic etc runs smoothly on site. And then over time I felt that I had a bit more to me than just sitting in the Weighbridge. I wanted to sort of learn more about the quarrying industry, so I started to support my manager with regards to sort of the back office side of things, so purchase orders and learning more about the quarry, if that makes sense. And then I decided that was it. I wanted to go outside and I wanted to join in, and I basically when I returned from maternity leave in 2021, I was then basically out on site learning sort of the plant etc, and then just that is what I wanted to do. From the beginning really I knew I wanted to be out on site, and I then took my shovel license, so I've now got my loading shovel license as well. On a day-to-day basis, we make sure that the plant's maintained and running. We have to make sure that if the plant isn't running and there's any breakdowns, we have to make sure that they're fixed etc. If we can't get anything fixed on site, we'll have to call contractors in who obviously support. We've got a wash plant and a building plant on site, so that's what we have to maintain. And then as well as working on site, I drive the loading shovel, which is used to load our lorries, or the screener, which is where we put the material through the plant. So that's basically, the screener is based down in the pit, which is the quarry. I've done quite a bit of e-learning, but then you also do training such as LATOTO, which I'm not sure if you've ever heard of. It basically stands for lockout, tag out, try out. So when we work on machines, if we have to fix something on the plant, we have to make sure that the plant's switched off, and we have to make sure that we've obviously locked it out. Without that, you can't work on the machines etc. You have to undertake that training to then obviously be able to do that. My shovel tests I completed in September 2021, and a lot of the knowledge I have is it's being hands-on. You can't really learn it from a book. You need to do it hands-on. You need to look at it visually, and you need to learn the different parts etc. I'm a hands-on person when it comes to sort of learning anything. I like to be hands-on. I'm not very good at the academic side, if that makes sense. I'm not very good at sitting in a classroom and listening. I have to do a lot of hands-on stuff. So for me to get out and be on site and to learn from the bottom, basically, because that's what I've done. I've started at the bottom and I want to work my way up, and the best way for me to do that is basically be hands-on, get out on site, and I find it really important that you need to gain that knowledge, because you can't just walk out there and think that you can do what you want sort of thing, because there's obviously a lot of health and safety risks there. So if you ever get a chance, go on Google and look at the Aberfan disaster. That happened in 1966, which was a Welsh mining tragedy that took place, and it claimed the lives of 116 children and 28 adults. So it's really interesting read. So if you get a chance, have a look, and it just shows you how important it is to make sure that you understand what you're doing in a quarry, basically. Everyone always asks me what it's like working sort of within a male-dominated industry, and it doesn't get competitive, but I like to prove that I can do just as much as what a man can do. Sometimes I think, because I'm a woman, they may not want to ask me to do certain tasks, but in my eyes, I'm determined to do what I can, and just try to do it better, really. I know that sounds a bit big-headed, but I often think, I'm a woman, I can do this, and I can prove myself. So it is good. It is a good environment to work in, and as I say, it doesn't get competitive at all. If it does, it's just us being sort of colleagues and having a laugh between ourselves, sort of thing. I personally have suggested to the company that we need to start doing school visits and talks around women working in construction. When I was at school personally, A lot of people worked in offices. A lot of the young girls went to do hairdressing and beauty and things like that. And I personally didn't go on to do that. I went to do social work. And I feel if I had had a woman come into my school and spoke about working within the construction industry, it would have helped me choose the path that I've gone down now, and I wouldn't have chosen the path that I went down originally. So I think it can be daunting for young girls and women when you look on the outside in, but once you're in that environment, it's an amazing place to work. It's brilliant. It is good. PPE, which is obviously the orange clothing that we have to wear, that wasn't the most flattering uniform for us women to wear, if that makes sense. You'd have to just basically wear what was given to, if you was to do a site visit, you'd just be handed what they had on site. Or as myself, when I started, they ordered me clothing which was too tight, so it was just absolutely awful for me to then, obviously I couldn't walk around in clothing that was too tight. So they needed to look into obviously the clothing to fit women better, so instead of us wearing the men's trousers, etc., they've actually now, our company that we get our clothing from, they've actually brought out a women's range, so the trousers, the tops, etc., and fit a lot nicer. They're not figure hugging, but they fit how it should on a woman, if that makes sense. They're not baggy, and they're really comfortable, because I have to wear mine from obviously the minute I go into work to the minute I finish. So for me, it's nice to have clothing that feels comfortable. Just from being there within a couple of years, the clothing range has completely changed, and it is absolutely fantastic. We have to wear gloves. They only went up to like a size 7, but now they do a size 6 for people with smaller hands and things like that. So they've looked at everything, and it is a lot better now. And I think just by doing that, it's going to encourage women to come and work in the industry, because you're not going to feel frumpy, etc. You're going to enjoy what you're doing. And obviously I'll wear my PPE with pride, sort of thing. I go to the shops in it, I wear it wherever I go, and I'm always asked questions. But yeah, so the PPE is a big thing. Toilet facilities, when you go to a site, there's normally sort of a male and a female, because obviously sometimes you have people from HR that have to attend sites, so they need to make sure they've got that facility. But where I work in the actual quarry and I go down into the pit, there's no toilets. There's no toilets for anyone. For a male, I know it's easier for them to obviously go to the toilet, but for us women, we can't just sort of go where we want, if that makes sense. So we have to, obviously, if I'm down in the pit and need to go to the toilet, I have to drive the shovel from the pit all the way back up to the top, which can take 10-15 minutes, which is 10-15 minutes out of my day, which every time I need to go to the toilet, it adds up, because when you're trying to put material through the plant, that's called production. And then what will happen is obviously that production will be affected every time I have to go and have a toilet break. So little things like that we have spoke about, and they're going to look at getting portable toilets put down into the quarry. So that is a really good thing that we're looking at. And our toilets up top where I work at the moment only had a male toilet, so we've had to make a women's toilet which have now got a padlock on, etc. So it's little things like that that I think sometimes they just need to look into a little bit more, especially now if they want women to come and work in this industry. Facilities like that, it does need to be looked into a little bit more. So, but I think they're doing it. They are coming to terms with it, and they're starting to sort of get more on the ball. So it is good. I do a lot of what I do because I want to encourage women into this industry. I've never been able to sort of be as passionate about something as what I am now about this. And I've been I'm not sure if you've seen, but I've been put forward for the top 100 women in construction award, and I've come out top 3 for the one to watch category. So on the 27th October we find out if I win that. So little things like that, by doing what I'm doing, is enabling me to sort of show women that you can do this, and you can get out there and you can do it.